welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited that you guys are here, and I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you, when this video finally reaches you. Today's video is one that I am so excited to dive into because we are diving into yet another haunted doll. Now, if you've been on my channel for a while, you would know that we've dove into some pretty creepy haunted dolls in the past. But today, we are diving into a haunted doll so terrifying that her backstory alone will scare you. Before we get into today's video though, I would just very quickly like to thank today's video sponsor, Cerebral. Those of you who know me and have been on my channel for a while would know that I am a huge advocate for mental health and for people to receive mental health care. And yet factors like cost and fear of judgment can hold people back from receiving and accessing quality mental health treatment. Cerebral is a mental health subscription that provides clients with ongoing comprehensive access to online care and medication management for anxiety, depression, insomnia, and ADHD in certain states for a flat monthly rate. The care Cerebral provides is covered by a monthly subscription. Cerebral takes a one-stop shop approach to mental health care, providing their clients with both evidence-based therapeutic techniques and medication management. Operating in a telemedicine model, meaning you can schedule video or phone visits with your provider, therapist, or care counselor when it's convenient for you. And there's different plan options depending on your personal needs. Depending on where you live, you could see a provider within just 20 minutes, and Cerebral provides affordable price options. You can click the link down in my description to get started with Cerebral and have access to quality mental health treatment for as low as $30 for your first month. I will have that link at the very top of my description. And thank you so much to Cerebral for sponsoring today's video. But without further ado, let's get into this terrifying haunted doll. So this says, Clarice, a terrifying haunted doll with an even scarier backstory. And this is what the story says. My nan loved her dolls. Actually, she collected them. I know it may sound weird that a grown woman loved dolls like that, but to us, it was normal. At my nan's house, in every corner of every room, she had some kind of doll. My mom would tell us that it was always Nan's hobby to collect these dolls, and now I wonder if she always knew that maybe it went deeper than that. My nan loved to share her collection of dolls with us. We were allowed to play with any of her dolls whenever we wanted, but even though she loved to share her dolls with us, she had one doll locked up that no one was ever allowed to touch. This doll was named Clarice. My nan never really told us why we weren't allowed to touch the doll or why the doll never left her case or spot in my nan's room. When I would ask my mom about Clarice, she would say that's just always the way it's been. She said my nan had Clarice since my mom was born, and reminded me how sometimes when we have something special to us, we want to keep it just for us. One time my cousins and I thought it would be fun to try and sneak a peek at Clarice. I mean, we'd seen her in her case kinda our entire lives, but we were never able to get too close or really see her. My cousin Jenna especially wanted to get close to Clarice. She was young and loved basically any and all dolls. I remember we were just about to reach and touch her case one day when my nan came barging in. We had no idea how she could have known that we were going to do that as she was in the middle of making us all dinner. I had never seen her scream the way she did that day. My nan had never yelled at us like that, and I remember being so terrified. We swore to never go near that doll again, even though I knew Jenna still wanted to. Years later, my nan would suddenly pass away. My mom and aunts brought my cousins and I to her house with them as they sorted through her things. It was the first day they'd start this, and it was gonna take a while and as many hands as they could get. My nan was somewhat of a tidy hoarder. I remember them saying they had no idea what they were gonna do with so many dolls. They were conflicted between knowing how much they meant to my nan, but also not wanting a gazillion dolls in their home. My aunt decided that my nan would have wanted us to have at least a few. So they called us into the room and told us we could pick which dolls we wanted to keep, if any. Clarice, my 9-year-old cousin Jenna said, I want Clarice. At first, our mom said there was no way any of us could have Clarice, that Nan never let anybody touch the doll. My cousin Jenna was bummed, but soon it was almost like they realized my Nan was really gone now, though. I remember my aunt's deciding point. She realized that Clarice must have been really special to my Nan, and that she would probably want someone to have her. They asked if we were all okay for Jenna to have the doll, and Jenna was handed the case with Clarice inside. She immediately opened it. Up close, the doll was anything but cute. It was an almost porcelain-like doll with a cracked face and dark eyes. It wore a vintage-looking dress and had a thin string tied around its wrists. Jenna pulled the string off of the doll and looked it up and down. All of us were pretty surprised this was the doll my Nan seemed to love so much that she'd keep it protected in a case and never let anyone near it. I couldn't understand why Jenna would even want that thing, but somehow she still did. And so at the end of the day, my aunt and Jenna brought Clarice home. A few months later, I'd never see my cousin again. My mom told me that Jenna had gotten sick, and that was why she passed away. And for years, I believed that. It wasn't until I got older that I was told the dark and sinister truth. My mom said after Jenna received Clarice, she became attached. She would spend all of her time with the doll and isolate herself from everyone. At times, my aunt would hear what sounded like another voice in the room with Jenna, but when she went in to check on her, it was just the two of them. My mom said that my aunt was getting creeped out about the way Jenna was acting with the doll and talking about it. So she started to tell my mom all about it. At this time, they were still cleaning out my Nan's house. My cousin Jenna wasn't eating much, was lacking focus, and was really quick to anger. My aunt told my mom that weird things were happening at the home too, but never really told my mom exactly what. My mom said my aunt noticed drawings laying around the house that were disturbing, and that everyone seemed to be fighting all the time. My aunt would tell my mom that she had no idea what was going on with Jenna and their home. But then one day, they were nearly done with cleaning out my Nan's house, and there, they would find a missing puzzle piece to that, if you will. Hidden in all of my Nan's important things was a letter with a disturbing truth. It told a story from years before the doll was ever with my Nan, a story of pure evil being concealed within the doll. A dark and evil entity was said to live inside that doll and to be kept inside the case that it was never to be removed from. Unless concealed, the entity would set to harm and possess a weak and vulnerable soul, and would stop at nothing to do it. As the story detailed, it had done before. Kind of sounds like Annabelle, but let's continue. After the discovery of that letter, my aunt and uncle got rid of the doll immediately, and no one knows where it ended up. But a few months later, my cousin Jenna would unexpectedly fall ill and die. Nobody knows if my cousin getting sick had anything to do with the doll, but my family does believe that when my cousin opened the box, she likely released an entity. My mom has never told me exactly what happened with the doll in the past or everything that was written, but from the bits and pieces I've heard, there were some sort of exorcisms in the past, and the entity ended up inside the doll. The letter was a warning to anyone who may find it. We have no idea where my Nan found the doll, or why she kept it so close if she knew the evil inside of it. We also have no idea where the doll has ended up. All we know is the letter was from so long ago, there must have been many owners before my Nan. I guess that's what haunts me the most. The fact that somewhere in this world that doll could still be found, or that maybe it already has been, and that it will be found without the letter. My family doesn't speak about the doll anymore. After the death of my cousin, the family kind of fell apart. The doll is like a hidden family secret that we all pretend we don't know. So that's why I feel the need to share it, just in case the doll is out there. I'm not sure how this will help, but at least it's now off of my chest. And that's the story of Clarice the doll. So what I gather from that story is that her mom and aunts likely found like a whole story detailing the exorcisms and what truly happened with the doll. It honestly sounds a lot to me like the Annabelle story in the sense that there was an evil put inside of a doll, put inside of a case. But what I don't understand is why their grandmother would keep the doll, why she seemed to love the doll. Was it an act to keep her family away from it? What was going on there? And did Jenna's death have anything to do with the doll? I have so many questions with this story. I feel like I'm sitting here right now just with my mind going a million miles a minute trying to piece together what could have happened. So weird. Could you guys imagine getting a doll from like a relative's house that has passed away and then later finding a letter that's associated with the doll saying all the horrible things this doll is said to have done? I can't even fathom that. And that kind of hits close to home for me because of my grandma recently passing away, we had to go through all of her things as well. Luckily, we didn't find any creepy haunted things, but I guess I can kind of put myself more in the shoes of that family, if that makes sense. What do you guys think of this particular story? Do you think Jenna's death had anything to do with it? Why do you think the grandmother kept it? Do you think Jenna was drawn to the doll? These are just some of the questions that are coming up in my mind and different theories I'm exploring in my mind. So definitely let me know any and all thoughts you guys have down below. And that is basically it for today's haunted doll video. As I mentioned, you guys can click the link at the very top of my description to get started with Cerebral and have access to quality mental health treatment for as low as $30 for your first month. So thank you so much to Cerebral for sponsoring. If you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my content, I would seriously love it more than anything if you go ahead and click that subscribe button. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you.